Hey there, how you doing? This is my friend Buzz, Buzzsaw. He can chew through anything, but mostly um, irrelevant dishonesty. He hates lying. That's why he likes me. Bob is really a strange guy, but he's always telling you what it is. He's saying, don't believe him. Check it out for yourself. Thank you, Buzz. Buzz will come back later in the evening. Um, I'm in a undisclosed location. I'm on the bop, and I was taking a little time off. I was fine, but it took a lot to close everything down and pack things up, and I have no idea where I'm going. But that's usually when the most interesting stuff happens, right? So that's where we're at. Hey, Twitch, and all good. I got my new seasonal hat here. This is my new seasonal look. Bob Claus, Santa's younger brother. I run HR and keep the naughty and nice list. So, and I can barely read. My eyes are not the best, and I don't have my other 6 pairs of glasses to stack on here. So that's where I'm at. I'm like on the bop. Not in any one place, and I did this because, I spent 172 days in the deep green, right, at the lodge. And from May until yesterday, I was there. And I came for the eye issues I have and the other medical stuff twice, right? So in that 172 days, I spent about, I don't know, 5 days here, right? And so it's obvious. I still have friends, and there's still stuff I can do here to help, right? Because Roanoke is this microcosm of America. If Roanoke could get its act together and has so many, the people, everything, its location. That's right. Roanoke can really zip, could buzz right through anything. But because of petty politics, it goes nowhere. Thank you, Buzz. Buzz always got straight to the bottom line. Me, I kind of get lost in the story. I forget where I'm at. I don't even know what hat I'm wearing. So, and I love it that you're all there. I just can't read. I can tell that's twitchy, but when you guys are just like me, I have but no, I actually have the sky picture, don't I? Yeah. Yep. So on the bop, and I'm gonna try and do live chats on the bop. When I drop into a coffee shop or a IHOP or any of those kind of places that have a friendly and welcoming Wi-Fi, I'll go in there. And so I'm going to try and talk to more people and get instead of me just kind of yammering on. And gang, I would. Like I said, I'm sure I have more than 700, even though I can't figure out for the life of me how many shows I have. I see other people's channels, they go, oh, I got 3 shows, I'd like to know how many I have. Anyway, but I can't figure it out. And the statistics that YouTube gives here, or whoever, that Google or Alphabet or whoever, it's like, yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So anyway, I've told you many a story, and most of it revolves around vacation. So many of you of the cadre have said, "Oh man, I live here. You should come." So I may just take you up on it, gang. There's about 12 to 20 of you guys who say, "Yeah, I just live right." They haven't really told me exactly where they live, just the bioregion. Anyway, so anyone wants to help me out because living in the woods, you can budget yourself pretty good. But I'm the bop. No. So go to my Gmail, my the dude awake 42 at Gmail, and I have my PayPal there, and drop some in there. I'd really love it, right? And I definitely put you on the nice list and not the naughty list. I mean, Santa doesn't have a clue. I can just write in anything. He doesn't. So 5 minutes and 15 seconds. What I have not a real thought in my head except to say, hey, I'm okay, and I'm on the bop. I'm going to be all over the place, right? So, but I've been thinking about, what's, we're since 2012. That's when things, not the end of time, but the beginning of a new time. But the energetics of the Piscean age is still with us. That's why we have all these wars and conflicts and etc. And even though we're 100% in Aquarian age, it's not looking like that. But you have to realize we're still here. I'm amazed we're still here. I thought we belonged, in the 80s when Ronald Reagan put the Persians right on the doorsteps. Mm-hmm. I can't even read your names. I think it's so freaking small. JH. That's all. It's like Thursday before they did the procedure on my eyes. I go through this battery of tests. So they check my eyeballs lots, take pictures of it, measure them, do all kinds of things. And one of them is your standard eye test, where they have a projection of all the letters and what are they, and almost as small as the print here on the live chat. But I'm energetically picking you all up. Jamie, Twitchy, I think Jane. Who else? But I love you all. And so I'm like I said, send me, at Gmail, any kind of, you want to throw into PayPal, but also really kind of where you are. And if you're in America, your phone number, I can give you a call. And I promise I won't bother you. Just 1 or 2 calls, right? So anyway, you can be part of the circus, you can go along. So do I look like a upside down ice cream cone? I don't want to get scatologic on it, Ho, 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 ho. But, Jimmy Dore, he just keeps, he's a gift that keeps giving, man. I saw him do a thing about, I mean, what I love about Jimmy, he is neither left nor right. He just calls out yahoos. Very similar to our Congresswoman from Hawaii, Tassie Gabbard, right? And the only girl who's really talking, like she might do something for this country. And everybody and her brother is saying she's, it's like really. And she, served in Iraq and Afghanistan, in a hospital watching people get blown up and taking care of them. So she knows what it's about. She's been in the military for like, I think 16 years. She's been a congresswoman for almost 8 or 6 or something like that. So she kind of knows what's going on. She would be a good president. And she is not taking any prisoners and that's why, see, the DNC and the Republicans, they are the mirrored image of each other. 2 wings of the same corporate bird, very similar to Gary Allen's book, None Dare Call It Conspiracy. That's his whole thesis, that the political structure is basically the same thing. And George Carlin said the same thing, that it's all a rigged show and you're not part of the club, very similar to They Live, right? And where the guys got the sunglasses and they fell in on the underground, the dumps, the deep underground military bases under the cities. There's one right under Roanoke. I mean, they've been working on the power lines for the last 15 years. Something's going on down there. So, what did I say? Yeah, fun. Okay, Twitch, you're going to work or going to school or going out. Either one. Have a good time, buddy. And I won't be doing these things as much until I find, because I'm on the bop. It's hard to do something when you're on the bop. But I'm in good shape, good health, good fiddle. All my doctor's things so far have been grade A, all in good shape. I lifted the hood, but it's still uncomfy. My little Charcot legs and my neuropathy and a few other, they're not going away. But it's really, truly amazing what meditation can do, right? So, hey, why don't we do a meditation? Come on. Sit like I am in a comfortable place. Breathe in that 20%. And every day in every way takes a piece of the earth and make it stronger through service to love's co-creation for all our relations. Aho. So say we all. So you're breathing in that 20%, so you're shutting down the squirrel in your cage, and that's why you're sitting down and you're not standing up so you won't fall over, but you're in a comfy, safe place. I'm going to count from 1 to 3, and as I do, you're going to go deeper and deeper into a state of conscious relaxation. 1, the conscious mind is totally focused on your breath. See it clearly. It's about 19%. Then you throw out 30%. It's about 22%. So you breathe that way because you have to use your conscious mind, 100% to breathe that way, right? Goes against a lot of the hard wiring of our autonomic system. So that's when you get more oxygen in there, more prana, more chi, more, grounding. Bingo, you're in state. So 1, you're in a deep, 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 deep state of relaxation. Let me introduce myself. I am your sensei, Griot Al Bob, and we're here on our channel, which is known in YouTube land as Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Al Bob. And we have been on YouTube Air since May 8th of 2018. So as of this last May, that was 1 year, right? And so May, June, July, August, September, October, November. So 12 plus 6 is 18 months we've been on the air. And we've had many theme, right? 40 days and 40 nights was one of our themes, one of our first themes. Grandma said, the old crone told me. Now these aren't, they're on the description thing. So allegedly you're supposed to be able to find them easier. But anyway, what we're doing right now, you're going slowly because you're still breathing that 20% in and that 30% out. And what you're doing when you're breathing in like that, lifts your diaphragm up, and it causes the squirrel in your brain to shut up. So you're not going through a laundry list of venal anxieties. And that extra oxygen and connection to the prana, the higher energy. That's why when I call myself a shamanic, psychosocial, cultural, forensic, anthropologic alchemist, what is that alchemy? Am I trying to turn base metals into gold? Yes. But the base metal isn't like, a Coke can, and the gold isn't, Fort Knox. It's way more interesting than that because we are, the base metal. We are a bag of water with a bunch of trace metals in us, right? And the gold is that thread that goes up through our third eye into our, Akashic record. And in that path, we're, on the ladder of ascension. And so when you meditate like this, right, you're going into a meditative state, and I'm counting you down from 1 to 3. You're going deeper and deeper and deeper into a state of relaxation. You're just really relaxed. Your whole body is relaxed. You're safe and secure. You're sitting down in a nice place or lying down in your bed. You're just comfy, and you're safe, and you're going deeper into the state of relaxation, conscious. And so what you see is in the light of the Akashic comes through us by our breath, through the prana, right? That's the energy force that animates us. Otherwise, we'd just be a bag of water. And our real soul is in some server someplace else. This thing is just a avatar that we can, ride like a bicycle through this life and get experiences and learn to ascend our soul, right? Now, this is where I say, don't believe anything I say, right? I'm just a griot. What is a griot? A guy who tells a story. I'm just a sensei. What is a sensei? Sensei is a teacher, right? That both deserve respect because you can't be a sensei or a griot unless you are an elder, right? Now, that doesn't mean you're old. That means you've been conscious your whole life and you've acquired experience, Do you know what education, when you take that word and take it back to Latin and Greek and Sumerian, do you know where the root of that word, education comes from? It means, its first meaning was to understand through experience, not tests, not textbooks, not curriculum, but through experience. Right? So that's why I'm on the bounce, is to get more experiences, meaning living the last 3 years, 7 years in Roanoke from the time I got sick to now, was good. It was a trial, but it taught me great things, right? And I lost a lot of weight in my body, even though my body has been damaged by my excesses. I'm still alive and kind of, my endocrinologist and my bone doctor can't believe I can walk. Those two guys want to cut my legs off. But anyway, and that's what you can do with your faith in love's co-creation. You can do it. Why do people, go from stage 4 cancer to this to totally in remission? Because they have given up everything that the moron world has told them, and they go strictly on the faith of love's co-creation. And bingo, there they are. So, what else can I say? Can't read your things because I don't have 4 sets of dollar store glasses, and I'm still on vacation, right? So I'm, maybe Monday or Tuesday or sometime around then, I will be in a more secure location where I'm not on the bop, right? So anyway, it took some energy to find my battery charger, but anyway, it always works out, So this is Bob Claus signing off from an undisclosed neighbor, and we're putting together that naughty and nice list, right? But how Santa looks at it, everybody's nice. Me too. I'm like, Pollyanna when it comes to, I trust everybody because that's how I want to roll. I don't want to be, Richard Nixon. I want to, so I lead by example. The stuff I do, I don't care. If someone says, "Oh, look at that," who cares, right? But pretty much, I can't lie, cheat, or steal, so I don't try. All these morons who do it, and they're really bad at it, and they all get caught. It's like, Bernie blah blah. What's his name? Really. And so, when you're involved in that stuff, no matter, you're, at some point, look at, everybody in our history has gotten their comeuppance in some way or another, and it all goes to supposed to inform. That's how democracies work. We live in a deformed society. That's where we live right now. Yeah, we live in a deformed society. You can't beat it. Join it. Throw another arm up here. So what we all need to do, as that little pebble in the pond, is we have to lead by example and have a good time. Not get too bent out of shape about anything. Jane, what's Santa Bob? Yep. I'm really, Bob Claus. That's my pseudonym at this point. Now I know that I'm not that entity. It's just a pseudonym, right? And that's the difference between people who have DID and guys like me who just kind of pulling your leg. Don't believe anything I say. So, what can I say? I bought this thing you wait till after Christmas. I got this in Lowe's about 3 years ago. And when it was on sale before Christmas, it was like $25, right? About a week after Christmas, before the New Year's, I went through Lowe's one more time looking for the dregs. And this was, and we're going to throw this thing away if you don't buy it. 10 cents. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's my price range. And that's how, I either get it out of the garbage or it's 10 cents. I got patience. And if it goes past me, who cares, right? Ooh, I better check the soup. I got talking here, and I don't want to burn it the second time. You just guys stick there and talk amongst yourselves. Okay, I'm back. Do you guys know what stone soup is? Stone soup is back in the Depression when hobos were riding the rails, right? And they get a big pot, put the best water they could find, and boil it up and throw stones in. And then other people would throw other stuff in. And that was soup. That was the nourishment they had. So I call it stone soup. It's like so I'm traveling and I got one of those freezer bags, and whatever vegetables and foods, cheese, whatever, I put in that and then keep it in the shade. And it's so cold out enough at night that it keeps that stuff colder than what a refrigerator would be. So, and I only buy little bits, And what's interesting, just by little bits, you can see that there is inflation in certain products, not, the cohort of everything in a supermarket, but like the stuff you really need. So things are afoot, that's for sure. And it's just go think of the most dastardly Steven Spielberg kind of spy thriller / pirate movie from Aliens from Outer Space, and there you go. That's where we're the next red flags, shape. It shouldn't even, next branding. That's it. Better term, branding. Right. And so, Buzz, you got anything else to say? Well, what I can say is get off your butts and get doing something. Have a coffee shop, get a restaurant, movie house, start writing poetry with friends, handing poems out, doing something. We all do a little something. Everything changes. Thank you, Buzz. Like I said, Buzz cuts through it all. He doesn't kid around. He goes straight to it, right? So, this is your Sensei Al Bob. I appreciate your concern. Everybody was, where is Bob? It's only about 4 or 5 days. But hey, go and get those other ones. Go start looking at the past. Get yourself a frigging dartboard. Oh, that's 312. Okay, I'll go look at that one. You don't have to watch the whole thing, but if that's really groovy, and put it down in your thumb drive. Get the best 100. Then play them on your own YouTube channel. The life and times of Sensei Griot Albob, protege and best friend of Pluggy Boom Boom. So go to my blog spot, my xrated.blogspot.com. And there's two newish posts. One from a couple of weeks ago is called Bad Girls. And the more recent one, the newest one, is called Same as It Ever Was. Right? And don't believe anything I say. Right? And it's, this summer I wrote 5 novels. And I couldn't finish any of them. I would get, somewhere between 300 and 500 pages a novel. And it was like, uh-oh, I'm like lost here. And because I just kind of click this stuff down, it just comes, into my mind. And then I go back and edit it. And to try and, anyway, it was difficult. So what I did find on my 5th novel, because why I had so many novels written is that I get so many pages done and I say, well, I better try and go back from the beginning and move things around so it'll somewhat make sense and have a a denouement. And so that was getting harder and harder. But I saw a pattern coming that different parts from those 4 would go together to make the 5th, and that's Same as It Ever Was. So if you go to XRATTED, which is also Griot Publishing, go, and so that's 188 pages. Now I put those 4 novels that I had about 300 to 500 pages, so I had about 2,500 pages, and I ended up using about 100 of them and got Same as It Ever Was, right? But that book was, when I finished weaving the first weave, I had about 500 pages. Instead of saying, I got to squeeze these 500 into 188, I said, no, there are going to be 3 parts here, So actually, they turned out to be 4. So this is your first part, Same as It Ever Was, right? And so go read that, and I'd love some feedback on that. I'm, on the, feedback bar of the document itself, or go to Gmail, dudeawake42 at Gmail, right? And how about some more thumbs up? And how about some more? I mean, people are leaving the cadre. We were up at 352, and now it's down to 347. Not that I really care, but I'm going to start bouncing into your lives in the real. And if you read Same as It Ever Was, there's a section about the blue bunny, and that's going to be me. So, or it's kind of me, not with all the me. It's just kind of me. What is Jamie saying here? YouTube going crazy in 2020. Yeah, I got all this stuff that they're changing everything. That's why I'm telling you, guys, go get my stuff, because it's in public. You can take it and put it on your hard drive or a thumb drive or a CD-ROM. It would be nice to have somebody. All I know what to do is point the pointer at that little camera, hit go, take a picture of myself, hit go again, then hit next, and then I'm live, right? To do anything, edit anything, add stuff, do no. Sensei Al Bob, don't do that stuff. At least not anymore. Back in the day when I edited videotape with a razor blade, yes. But I'm like the caveman lawyer. I don't understand this. I need a how, just so I can get along, like in Zardos, that little ring they wore that connected them into everything, and the artificial intelligence ran the universe, and had gas stations out there at every star system. So so it is now. Oh, look, it's 29:44. So when it hits 30:30, adios, gang. And the next, who knows? Tomorrow, maybe not. Maybe Monday, maybe. Who knows? I'm on vacation, right? So I love you guys. And you should be in a state of, in your Akashic record, why don't you just kind of explore? You guys have been around, and especially if you do it as a team, connect to each other. That's what remote viewing is. That's what being psychic is. Being able to, instead, we delude ourselves by the lack of our ability to tell where we are, into telling us where we are, and so we shut up the things we should be listening to, and so everyone needs to get those gut sensations. You got like 20 billion little radio stations in your gut and colon. You should listen to them. And my friend, she had this device. It was a scalar energy device, and I'm a scalar energy guy. And so she said, "What is this thing, and does it work?" And so I, read the book and tried it out, and yep, it does. So see, there's lots of stuff out there, and it's right there. Just open your eyes and see it clearly. Right? Meditate every day. Go read my most recent thing, because there's a really nice little section in there about the 7 rays, which are, I don't know if you guys have been reading my stuff, but I drop lots of things into everything. And, things that are like secret, and, like when I was trying to read the ancient Celt books, when the old crone found me in the library, the dusty library of ancient things at Trinity in Dublin, and so I try to throw a little of that in there for entertainment's sake, so you kind of have to dig a little bit and see what it is, right? So whenever you see strange spelling, and what is spelling, but after the fall of the Tower of Babel, and everyone no longer was psychic or could talk to each other, everyone had a different language. The thing that kept it that way, that the folk, the gods and the demigods, every time they would rain crap down on humans, it was, because of their hubris, but, we followed their lead, and it would piss them off. So the bottom line is, don't, it's like my mom. I learned never to piss my mom off. After the few times where she, anyway, that's how life is, Good thoughts bring good words, bring good actions, which bring good deeds, which bring good outcomes, right? So otherwise, you're at the play of the strings of being a mud puppet. All those anxieties that are bing, 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 keeping you totally deluded and distracted. That people are out to get you, or no, no one's out to get anybody. I mean, the world is really too boring. And the only time people who get, so I'm not saying that people don't get whacked. That Larry moron boy who read the pizza house, and he was in the prison the federal prison downtown near the Supreme Court building, and he was the only guy. That building is 48 years old. When I lived in New York downtown, they built that thing. That was a new building, along with a few other icons, like the federal building across the street. Looks like the 2001 monolith. Anyway, so does the UN. The big, tall, flat building, no windows except on the sides. So, bottom line to all of this is, so out in the deep green, I actually, I have Cadillac camping. I got a toilet, I got water, but everything comes from hoses, almost a mile away. So really, winter is not feasible. Things would freeze up like that, and you can only dribble water so much. And there were other things that I had to, not be there. Obviously, that place is amazing from end of April to right about now, before December 10th, right? And that was always my window. I left, around December 10th south, and so I'm on the bop. I'm a little early for it. That last 2 weeks, when it got down to 9 degrees below zero, that was like, okay, but it was okay. I was underneath enough blankets, and it was warmy, toasty in my tent on top of my bed. And that's a good little trick. You're inside a building, but it has no real heat. Um, Put your little pup tent on the nice bed and sleep in the tent on top of the bed, and your sleeping bag and a couple of eiderdowns. Right? You zip it all up, and your breath keeps you about 15 degrees warmer than however cold it gets outside. The only little problem is if there's this like dew point thing that if it gets it starts to rain on the inside of the tent. That's the only drawback. So, those are all kind of little thoughts I wanted to drop on you guys to start thinking about because we got, again, like 14 months now of this window of opportunity. And after that, it's exactly like 2012. Oh, the end of times and my calendar ends. That means we're all going to fly off into space. Sorry, no. That's never actually going to happen. And if it was going to happen, it would have happened a long time ago, especially when they pushed the button for the first hydrogen bomb, and it was a million times stronger than what their math said it was going to be. It nearly, this was a test in 1949, somewhere between 47 and 49. They blew off the hydrogen bomb, the bikini atolls, but it was so much bigger than they thought. It nearly, the Japanese felt the crust forming, on Fukushima before the plant was built, And you should go read, what's his name? Joseph P. Farrell about that. Anyway, so he's quite thorough, quite succinct, and no fake news. It's truth is out there. You just got to dig around for it. And you can't, like, what do I say? Don't believe anything I say. Hey, fish. Yep, 7 rays. Right. So, and I did it on the New Year's Day of, it might have been 2012. Who knows? But go look at it. It's called 7 rays, and it's in that most recent thing, and it comes right after or right before the story of Ray. 7 rays, Ray. I don't know where I put it, but they kind of the bookends of each other. And then Sophia, my dream time animal totem. She's a beautiful female wolf, black hair with golden stripes through it. And that's what when she looks like a human being. She's got blonde hair with these like black and golden stripes running through her hair. She's pretty, both her wolf self and her self, quite interesting. So so that's Sophia. So go read her. If you guys have ever read Call Me Ishmael, where the gorilla is the smartest guy in the room, that's Sophia. She's one smart wolf. Yep, that she is. So that's a couple of the characters that are in there. And the story of Ray, I wrote, it has a date, but it was early, way before people really talking about global warming, right? And sea level rise. And again, you should go read Art Bell's book, The Day After Tomorrow, where he and this buddy of his, he used to do a radio show. He invented the radio show Coast to Coast. And he wrote this book with this really smart guy because all these, Art was really good at getting very interesting people to interview. And he was probably one of the best interviewers I ever saw because he would ask a question and then let the person talk all they wanted to about it. And then when the lull would start he would ask another one of these questions. But the guy who does it now, Noron, no, not even, no. So Art wrote this book, Day After Tomorrow. And what it is like It looks like, oh, the world's warming, it's warming, all this ice is melting, melting. Oh, it's terrible, terrible, terrible. Oh, we're all going to bake. Then what happens is all that water comes down, and the water thing is rising a lot faster than people said it was going to. And the other thing that happens is the water is so pure coming from the north, from those ice sheets of millions of years old, that it flows into the Gulf Stream and stops it. And that's when, instead of planet warming, we have a ice age, and everything above whatever parallel that is where America and Mexico is, everything to the south lives, everything to the north dies. And so that's all of Europe. That's a good chunk of China. It's at least half the population will starve to death within 60 days. So, there are things like that on the horizon, but they don't have to happen. But if you read that book, he does a really good job on saying, hey, kids, it's a shell game. Al Gore talking about the hockey punks, not really. So, and that's what we have. What do you think I live? 2,800. Oh, actually, I'm 3,200 feet above sea level. And depending on how the I Ching gets thrown down, this place will be fine, or I will be a popsicle, right? If I'm here. So either way, that's fine. But today I'm on the bop. I'm coming to visit you. I am coming to visit you. Me and Buzz, my friend Buzz. Remember, only you can make your life, not their life. Be awake. Don't be a Job. Job, that book, the sacred one, to serve man. It's a cookbook. Thank you, Buzz. Always cutting to the point. Yep, we're right on that edge, and we can either embrace all our relations and love them, or, as Buzz intimated, we're going to be someone's consomme. Ooh. So, a friend of mine who I'm staying with is a sculptress, and she's got this thing over there that looks just like a human being, and every time I see it, it's like, oh my God, who's that? And that's when you know it's real art, when it evokes that kind of spirit. Anyway, so you kids just hold on for another second or two. I'm going to go check the consomme. Ooh. Ah. Oh, yeah. And we're back. Schlancha. Ooh, liquor. So any of you folks from the Appalachian or Scotland or Ireland, and know the term liquor. And that's the beautiful sauce of a soup that's been cooking for the last 3 days of all the different meals we had. And when it renders down, and that's when you get a nice piece of bread, right? With some real butter on it, and dip it into this stuff. So this liquor came from 4 different meals in the last 3 days. That's why it tastes so good. One of those meals, I was boiling up some beans, and I got disconcerted. It's electric, so anyway, it burned. But I caught it just in time, took it off the heat, and scooped out the stuff that wasn't burned, right? So it has this kind of hickory fire, but not a taste of being burnt. So it's quite interesting. And there's some Soviet, that red sauce, that's Chinese hot stuff. Peas, pasta, some other veggies, a little bit of shrimp. It's rendered down so much that even though I have no teeth, I can still eat it. The one thing I can't masticate is when the peas get squished and the stuff on the inside goes into my esophagus, the little shell around the pea is still like hard. That's when you know that that's a GMO pea. Designed to have the outer taste protect the fruit more than it naturally is. Because the enzymes in your mouth break down food more than your teeth. And that's what mastication is. That liquor's good. So, what's been happening in your days? Yes, YouTube's going crazy. Web joy and bliss. The 7 rays in the most recent novel I've written. Go read it. It's like kind of straight out of Alice Bailey / Saint Germain. Pretty much that everything's in this book is straight out of my griot, Pluggy Boom Boom. I'm just the writer. I'm the scribe. I'm like Thucydides. Thucydides, you're the daddy of the written history. What is it? Well, it's whatever the Romans pay me to write. And I'm ready, willing, and able to go for that one. Like Jeremy Dore said, they haven't given me $20 million yet. What's her name from MSNBC, the girl with the glasses? She gets $35,000 a show, like $35,000 a day. Really? If that isn't the corporations buying the media, I don't know what is. And the same with Hannity. He's a thing ready to print money. And he's a brand unto himself. And everybody is reading the script. There is nothing organic or fresh about any of this, right? The only politician I see of any level of integrity is Tazzy Gabbard, right? And I don't know enough about her to say yes. It's like when Obama started going on about yes, we can. I started to see who is this guy and saw that there was nothing behind the curtain. Said, okay, we're in for another George W. And that's what we got. Right? Just like Bill Clinton was Ronald Reagan on steroids. You know, Bill Clinton did more to destroy this country than anybody in his life, and so that's why they wanted Donnie Trump, the stable genius, to be our president. So the only person that he could win against was Hillary. Lock her up, because right. So I think Hillary actually is somehow was mind melted with Roy Cohen, Donald Trump's lawyer, and the guy who ran the Senator McCarthy days of screwing with people's lives. Because, ideologies, the isms, capitalism, communism, socialism, you know, national socialism, you name it, whatever you want to call any of that stuff, they're all isms, meaning they're just someone self-gratifying themselves, right? And then someone taking advantage of them, right? Pretty much that was nationalism. I mean, how can a country go from being totally whacked from the day after First World War? Versailles put Germany in depression, took everything out of that country, took this great noble, people would go, how do they follow Adolf? Well, because 20-something years before, they were treated like scum and miserable, and they were smarter than anybody else. We could have won that war if we just didn't give up. And so, the hidden hand just played its time and rolled out Adolf. Adolf was a spy. I mean, he was a soldier boy. He was a straight up square. And he went to check out the brown shirt nationalist socialists. And his handler said, well, you stick in there. They seem to like you. So, if you go read Joseph Campbell and the guys who write books about this stuff, what's the guy who coined the phrase breakaway civilization? Anyway, so that is the end of the Piscean age, right? All that, right? And they got, rocket ships and death rays and all that kind of stuff, and have for probably 100 years. And it doesn't seem to matter. And what's most important is that all our relations stick together and love each other. And that's really all that matters, right? So, I'm the Bop Gang. I'm in an undisclosed place, and I pretty much will be an undisclosed. Anywhere I can find a free Wi-Fi, I can send you a message. Message in a bottle. Boom, boom. I can't drum like that guy. I think the drummer of Police was the best musician of the whole gang, right? And he thought he was God, and then that's never a good thing. You got to be humble, somewhat humble. I'm happy to be your humble griot sensei al Bob. That's me. I'm humble. I'm just happy to be here. I'm in a warm place. Thank you, my friends. And so, well, I'm gonna try and interview more people. Like if I'm in a coffee shop and I'm, there's the Wi-Fi and I'm talking to people, I'm going to go, so listen, I'm talking to my cadre about blah, blah, blah. And what do you think about it? I'm going to try and do more of that, right? And kind of give you the understanding that, our fellow men are smart, but they're morons. The government is designed as a shell game. And so we think we're voting for someone we want. I don't think so. So, I definitely, one of my great teachers was George Carlin. So, really. There were a number of times where I was invited to sign in and be part of the club. And I always kind of very humbly and graciously said, I still need more time to gather data out here. Come back and talk to invite me back another time. But right now, I don't think so. So, you guys, I know you're desperately trying to rebrand and you're definitely, you picked Donald to be the disruptor. Come on, we don't, that's old Piscean way. We don't need that. The basic folk can be smart enough to do the right thing for themselves. Don't try to make them all one, melting pot. I hated that term. We are a salad bowl, if anything. And my grandparents, especially on my dad's side, were, and on my mom's side, my mom's side, Irish, German, Dutch. My dad, 100 zillion% Italian. So when my mom, it was like, that's how they got me. A little space cadet, but more like a ET dimensional lucky bastard, So I never really liked spacesuits. I was not a fan of spacesuits. So here we are, 14 months, countdown, to that window. That won't be the end of time, blah, blah, blah. No, it's just another one of those moments of opportunity that will come and go on. Yes? What's up, kitty? Where are you anyway? I'm seeing that cat, now it's meowing. You wanna go out? Well, okay, gang, let's see. It's almost time to go. I think it's time to go. It's time to go. I love you guys. Maybe tomorrow if I'm around Wi-Fi.